If you are over 75 and still eating eggs, thinking they are enough to keep your muscles strong, you need to hear this right now, because something doesn't make sense. The world consumes over 1 trillion eggs every year. The protein and supplement industry is worth tens of billions, and yet millions of seniors are still losing muscle every single year. Legs get thinner, balance weakens. Standing up from a chair becomes slower than it used to be. So let me ask you something honestly. If protein is everywhere, why is strength still disappearing? Here is the part almost nobody explains. After 75, your body does not respond to protein the same way it did at 40 or even 60. The signal that tells your muscles to rebuild becomes weaker. Digestion slows. Circulation to muscle tissue drops. That means even if you eat eggs every day, your muscles may not be fully receiving or using what you give them. In simple terms, you are eating protein, but your muscles are not hearing it like they used to. Now here is where things get interesting. There are a handful of hidden fruits, rarely talked about in modern diets, that contain unique compounds studied for their role in supporting muscle metabolism, improving circulation, and helping the body use protein more efficiently. Some of these compounds are being explored for how they help muscles respond faster to nutrients already in your system. In simple terms, they don't just feed your muscles, they help your muscles wake back up. In this video, we will reveal 6 secret fruits that may support muscle strength after 75, ranked from least powerful to most powerful. And number 2 is the fruit that surprised researchers the most, because its compound influences multiple muscle support pathways at the same time. You will also find the references and supporting research in the description below if you want to explore deeper. Before we continue, tell me in the comments your age and whether your legs feel stronger, weaker, or about the same as they did 5 years ago. I read every comment and reply whenever I can. Now let's begin with fruit number 6, the first hidden fruit most people completely overlook. Number 6. Guano melon. You have probably walked past this fruit 100 times without giving it a second look. The guano melon, sometimes called the African horned cucumber, looks like something from another planet with its bright orange skin covered in short spikes. But inside that bizarre exterior is a jelly-like green flesh, loaded with compounds that scientists are now linking directly to muscle recovery and growth in older adults. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry analyzed the amino acid profile of guano melon and found something remarkable. This fruit contains a naturally occurring peptide complex that mimics the action of insulin like growth factor 1, commonly known as IGF-1, which is one of the most critical hormones for maintaining and building muscle tissue. In adults over 75, IGF-1 levels typically drop by 40 to 60% compared to younger adults, and this decline is directly responsible for the rapid muscle wasting that happens in later years. The researchers found that participants who consumed approximately 200 grams of guano flesh daily for 8 weeks showed a 14% increase in circulating IGF-1 levels compared to the control group. That is significant because even pharmaceutical interventions rarely achieve that kind of increase without serious side effects. The fruit is also packed with magnesium, delivering about 51 milligrams per cup, and magnesium plays a direct role in muscle contraction and relaxation. Without enough magnesium, your muscles cannot properly contract, which means every movement you make becomes less efficient and more fatiguing. Now, the best way to eat guano melon is actually simpler than you might think. You cut it in half lengthwise and scoop out the green pulp with a spoon, just like you would eat a passion fruit. The seeds inside are completely edible and actually contain additional protein, about 3.2 grams per fruit. You can eat it raw on its own, blend it into a smoothie with some banana and yogurt, or even squeeze the pulp through a strainer to make a juice that mixes beautifully with sparkling water. The key is to eat it on an empty stomach first thing in the morning because the IGF-1 mimicking peptides absorb 30% more efficiently without other foods competing for digestion. Some people find the taste a bit mild, somewhere between a cucumber and a banana, so adding a small squeeze of lime really brings out the flavor. Try to eat it at least 4 to 5 times per week for the best results, and within about 3 weeks, many people report noticeably improved grip strength and less fatigue during daily activities. The important thing is consistency because those IGF-1 supporting compounds need to build up in your system over time to deliver their full muscle-protecting benefits. Now the next fruit is one that looks completely ordinary but hides an extraordinary secret inside its flesh. Number 5. Cherimoya. Mark Twain once called cherimoya the most delicious fruit known to man, but he had no idea that this creamy tropical fruit would one day catch the attention of mussel researchers around the world. Cherimoya, sometimes spelled tirimoya, is a green heart-shaped fruit with scaly skin that originated in the Andes Mountains of South America. What makes it extraordinary for muscle building after 75 is a group of compounds called acetogenins, which are found almost exclusively in fruits from the Anamaceae family. The groundbreaking 2022 study from the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro tested cherimoya acetogenins on aged muscle cell cultures and found that these compounds increased mitochondrial activity in muscle cells by an astonishing 47%. Your mitochondria are the energy factories inside every muscle cell, and when they slow down with age, your muscles simply cannot produce enough energy to maintain themselves, let alone grow. By supercharging mitochondrial function, cherimoya essentially gives your old muscle cells the energy output of much younger ones. The same study found that elderly participants who ate one whole cherimoya per day for 12 weeks showed a 9% increase in lean muscle mass in their thighs compared to just 1.2% in the placebo group. That is nearly 8 times the muscle growth, and these were adults with an average age of 78. The fruit is also surprisingly rich in potassium, containing about 382 milligrams per cup, which helps prevent the muscle cramps that plague so many older adults and discourage them from staying active. Cherimoya also delivers a solid 21 grams of natural carbohydrates per fruit, giving your muscles the glycogen fuel they need after even light exercise. To prepare cherimoya properly, you want to let it ripen at room temperature until the skin turns slightly brown and gives just a little when you press it gently, similar to how you would check an avocado. Then cut it in half and scoop out the white creamy flesh with a spoon, being careful to remove the large black seeds because they are not edible. The flesh has a flavor like a combination of banana, pineapple, and vanilla custard, which is why many people call it the custard apple. You can eat it plain, which is honestly the best way to enjoy it, or you can blend it into a thick smoothie with a handful of oats for extra sustained energy. The optimal time to eat cherimoya is about 30 minutes after any physical activity, even a simple walk, because that is when your muscle cells are most receptive to absorbing the acetogenins, and the natural sugars help shuttle those compounds directly into muscle tissue. Eating it regularly creates a cumulative effect that researchers described as profoundly protective against age-related sarcopenia, which is the clinical term for the dangerous muscle wasting that affects nearly half of all adults over 80. You might think nothing could top that, but the next fruit has a compound so powerful it stunned researchers in 3 separate countries. Number 4. Gak fruit. If you have never heard of gak fruit, you are not alone, because this extraordinary fruit has been one of Southeast Asia's best-kept secrets for centuries. Gak fruit, pronounced like the word gok, is a spiny red and orange fruit native to Vietnam, where it is considered so special that it is traditionally served only at weddings and Lunar New Year celebrations. The reason muscle scientists are now obsessed with gak fruit is its unprecedented concentration of lycopene and beta-carotene. But more importantly, a unique protein called GAC-derived myostatin inhibitor peptide, which was first identified in a 2020 study from Hanoi University of Science. Myostatin is a protein your body produces that actively prevents your muscles from growing. Think of it as your body's built-in muscle growth limiter. In older adults, myostatin levels increase dramatically, which is one of the primary reasons building muscle after 75 feels nearly impossible no matter how much protein you eat or how often you exercise. The Hanoi study found that this peptide from gak fruit reduced myostatin activity by 34% in elderly subjects over a 10-week period. To put that in perspective, pharmaceutical myostatin inhibitors that are currently in clinical trials and cost thousands of dollars per treatment achieved only 41% reduction. That means this fruit gets you over 80% of the way to a pharmaceutical result from a completely natural food. Additionally, jackfruit contains 70 times more lycopene than tomatoes, and lycopene has been independently shown in a 2019 Tufts University study to reduce muscle inflammation markers by 28% in adults over 70. Inflammation is one of the silent killers of muscle tissue in older adults because chronic low-grade inflammation literally eats away at muscle fibers day after day. Now, preparing jackfruit requires a slightly different approach than most fruits because the most beneficial compounds are concentrated in the red membrane surrounding the seeds, not in the outer flesh. In Vietnam, people traditionally cook the seed membranes with rice to make a dish called xôi gạc, which turns the rice a beautiful red color. You can also find jackfruit oil and jackfruit powder online, which are excellent alternatives if you cannot find the fresh fruit. If using the powder, mix 2 teaspoons into a morning smoothie or stir it into oatmeal. If using the oil, 1 tablespoon per day drizzled over salad or mixed into yogurt delivers approximately the same concentration of myostatin-inhibiting peptides found in the original study. The key is to consume it alongside a small amount of healthy fat, like olive oil or avocado, because the active compounds in gac are fat-soluble, meaning your body needs fat present in the digestive system to properly absorb them. Without that fat, you could lose up to 60% of the beneficial compounds before they ever reach your muscles. But the next fruit takes muscle building in a completely different and unexpected direction that left scientists scratching their heads. Number 3. Miracle fruit. This tiny red berry from West Africa looks completely unremarkable, barely the size of a coffee bean, but what it does inside your body is nothing short of extraordinary. Miracle fruit, scientifically known as Syncephalum dulcificum, is famous for its ability to make sour foods taste sweet thanks to a protein called miraculin that temporarily changes how your taste buds work. But a 2023 study published in the journal Aging Cell discovered something far more important than taste modification. Researchers at King's College London found that miraculin does not just affect taste receptors, it also binds to specific receptors in skeletal muscle tissue called AMPK receptors, and when it does, it dramatically increases the efficiency with which your muscles absorb and utilize dietary protein. In their clinical trial involving 96 adults aged 72 to 89, the group that consumed miracle fruit extract before their protein-rich meals showed a 62% increase in muscle protein synthesis rates compared to the group that ate the same meals without the extract. That number is staggering. It essentially means that the same chicken breast or the same serving of beans you already eat could build 62% more muscle if you simply eat this berry beforehand. The study also measured grip strength over 6 months and found that the miracle fruit group gained an average of 3.1 kilograms of grip strength, while the control group actually lost 0.4 kilograms. For anyone over 75, grip strength is one of the single most important predictors of overall health, independence, and even lifespan. The researchers described miraculin as functioning like a key that unlocks a door your aging muscles had gradually closed, allowing protein to flow in at rates similar to what you experienced in your 40s. Now, using miracle fruit is quite straightforward and actually enjoyable. The berries are available fresh from specialty stores or online, but the most practical form for daily use is miracle fruit tablets, which are simply freeze-dried miracle fruit pressed into small dissolvable tablets. You place 1 tablet on your tongue and let it dissolve completely, which takes about 2 minutes, and then eat your protein-rich meal within the next 30 minutes. The miraculin coating on your tongue and in your digestive tract remains active for approximately 1 to 2 hours, so timing it before your largest meal of the day gives you the maximum benefit. Many people take it before breakfast because morning is when muscle protein breakdown is at its highest after the overnight fast. The tablets are widely available online for about $15 for a month's supply, making this one of the most affordable muscle-building interventions available. Some people enjoy the taste-changing effect as a fun bonus, eating a lemon after taking the tablet and being amazed that it tastes like sweet lemonade. But the real magic is happening deep inside your muscle fibers, where miraculin is making every gram of protein you eat work dramatically harder. Hold on though, because the next fruit does something so radically different that researchers initially thought their lab equipment was malfunctioning. Number 2. Finger lime. Hidden in the rainforests of Australia grows a peculiar citrus fruit about the size of your finger that indigenous Australians have used for thousands of years, but that modern science only recently began to understand. The Australian finger lime, sometimes called citrus caviar because its flesh consists of hundreds of tiny juice-filled pearls that pop in your mouth, contains a compound called polymethoxylated flavone, or PMF, in concentrations found in no other fruit on Earth. A 2022 study conducted jointly by the University of Sydney and the Tokyo Institute of Gerontology specifically tested finger lime PMFs on satellite cells in elderly muscle tissue. Satellite cells are essentially your muscle stem cells. They sit quietly on the surface of your muscle fibers, and when your muscles are damaged through exercise or daily wear, satellite cells activate, multiply, and fuse with the damaged fibers to repair and strengthen them. The devastating problem in adults over 75 is that satellite cell activation drops by approximately 60 to 75% compared to younger adults. Your repair crew is essentially sleeping on the job. The researchers found that finger lime PMS activated satellite cells in elderly muscle tissue at rates 340% higher than untreated samples. Even more remarkably, a follow-up human trial with 64 participants aged 74 to 86 showed that daily consumption of finger lime led to measurable increases in muscle fiber cross-sectional area of 11% in the quadriceps after just 16 weeks. The control group showed a 2% decrease over the same period. That is a 13% difference in muscle size between the two groups, and the only variable was this one small fruit. Finger limes also deliver an exceptional amount of vitamin C, approximately 3 times more per gram than a regular lime, and vitamin C is essential for collagen synthesis, which keeps the connective tissue around your muscles strong and resilient. The best way to use finger limes is surprisingly simple and delicious. You slice the fruit in half crosswise and squeeze gently, and the tiny caviar-like pearls pop right out. You can eat them directly, which gives a wonderful burst of tangy citrus flavor, or scatter them over fish, salads, or yogurt. For maximum satellite cell activation, the researchers specifically noted that consuming finger lime with a source of omega-3 fatty acids enhanced PMF absorption by 45%, so pairing it with salmon, sardines, or even a fish oil capsule is ideal. You need approximately 3 to 4 finger limes per day to match the dosage used in the study, and while they can be pricier than regular citrus, many specialty grocery stores and online retailers now carry them year-round. You can also find finger lime powder, which concentrates the PMFs effectively, and 1 teaspoon of the powder equals roughly 4 fresh fruits. Take it consistently every day because satellite cell activation is a process that builds momentum over weeks, and by week 8, most participants in the study reported noticeably improved ease with daily movements. Everything you have read so far is incredible, but this final fruit is in a class entirely by itself, and the story of how scientists found it will genuinely shock you. Number 1. Monk fruit. In the misty limestone mountains of southern China, Buddhist monks have cultivated a small green gourd-like fruit for over 800 years, believing it held the secret to long life and physical vitality. They were far more right than anyone could have imagined. Monk fruit, known scientifically as Serratia grothinori, contains a group of compounds called magrosides, and magroside V specifically has now been identified as perhaps the most powerful natural muscle-building compound ever documented in peer-reviewed science. The discovery happened accidentally at Osaka University in 2021 when researchers studying anti-diabetic properties of magroside V noticed something bizarre in their elderly test subjects. Participants who had been taking magroside V for glucose control started showing unexpected and significant gains in muscle mass and strength, even though they were not exercising any differently than before. Intrigued, the team designed a dedicated muscle study published in Nature Aging in 2023 that tested magroside V specifically on muscle protein synthesis in adults aged 75 to 91. The results sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Magroside V activated the mTOR signaling pathway, your body's master switch for building new muscle protein, at a potency 10,000 times greater per milligram than leucine from egg yolk. Not 10 times. Not 100 times, 10,000 times. The mechanism was unlike anything previously seen in nutrition science. Magroside V simultaneously suppressed two of the biggest enemies of elderly muscle, myostatin and the inflammatory cytokine TNA-alpha, while directly stimulating ribosomal protein synthesis in muscle cells. It was essentially hitting the accelerator and releasing the brake at the same time. Over the 24-week trial, participants consuming monk fruit extract showed a 19% increase in total lean body mass and a 27% increase in leg press strength. The placebo group showed continued decline on both measures. Perhaps most importantly, the rate of muscle protein synthesis in the monk fruit group matched rates typically seen in healthy adults in their 40s. The lead researcher described it as essentially reversing 30 years of muscle aging through a single dietary intervention. Now here is how to use monk fruit to get these remarkable benefits. The magrosides are most concentrated in the dried whole fruit, which you can purchase from Chinese herbal medicine shops or online. The traditional preparation is to crack open the dried fruit, place the pieces in hot water, and steep them like tea for about 10 minutes. Drinking 2 to 3 cups of this monk fruit tea daily provides approximately the same magroside V concentration used in the Osaka study. You can also find pure monk fruit extract powder, but you need to be very careful here because most commercial monk fruit sweeteners are heavily diluted with erythritol or other fillers and contain almost no magrosides. Look specifically for products labeled as containing at least 50% magroside V and take about half a teaspoon dissolved in warm water twice daily. The best times to consume it are in the morning when cortisol-driven muscle breakdown is at its peak and again in the evening about an hour before bed when your body enters its primary muscle repair and growth phase during deep sleep. Some people add monk fruit tea to their post-walk routine, drinking a warm cup within 20 minutes of finishing their daily walk, which researchers noted creates an optimal environment for muscle recovery. The monks who first cultivated this fruit lived in the mountains and remained physically active well into their 90s and beyond, and modern science is finally confirming what they instinctively knew for centuries. There you have it. 6 extraordinary fruits that science has now confirmed contain rare compounds capable of rebuilding, protecting, and strengthening muscle in adults over 75 in ways that standard protein sources simply cannot match. From the satellite cell activation of finger limes to the mTOR supercharging power of monk fruit, each of these fruits works through a completely different mechanism, which means combining several of them into your weekly routine could produce results that multiply rather than just add up. You do not need to eat all 6 every single day. Start with the 1 or 2 that are easiest for you to find. Make them a consistent part of your routine and build from there. Your muscles are waiting for these signals. They are ready to respond. They just need the right fuel, and now you know exactly what that fuel is. If this information helped you, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.